Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Hitman GO Definitive Edition. Let's go. So, when we cover a game, when I cover a game, I have to play the game pretty much non-stop. I can make a 10-20 hour game, do it in about 5 days at most, if not 1 or 2 days. Often I don't even bother to close the game at all throughout the entire process. This is interesting. Let's see what this is going to do. Well, that just really messed me up. That's what that did. And this here doesn't work for anything. So for this series, even though I've been having some frustration with it, quite a lot of frustration, honestly, there's actually very little I can do that would fix that. I suppose I can throw this here for whatever that's worth, but so what'll be interesting, do you beat the level if you get to the point? You do beat the level even if you are in danger of being killed there. Let's go ahead and see what the kill all the enemies moves look like. So start here, throw one here. That brings this guy that way. And come up here. And come over here, start here and throw this one here. That brings those guys over there. And then come over here, switch to this. And I guess because I've now arranged them both there, they both go that way. So I can do this. And because of the way it happened, I can just walk. I would have never even thought of this. Just run and then run. This is kind of ridiculous how that worked. I would have never figured that out. Never ever. Let's see how you do it in 16 or fewer turns now. So I started to explain. It's like whenever I cover a game, I cover it in as close to a row as possible. Very few breaks. So if it felt like several episodes, I'm just being frustrated with it. And then there's no reason to even say if it felt like I was being frustrated with it, definitely. That is partially because I've taken no breaks. Now I have taken a break since the last time I recorded. And so now I'm a little bit calmer on it. But this isn't probably going to last. Let's just be honest here. My frustration with this game is, I think, valid. At least I think it is. We'll see as we go forward. And I'm doing everything I possibly can think of to not be irritated by these puzzles. So here we're in a hotel of sorts. Let's see. Here's a Coke machine, and here's a key. So if I was to do this, and throw these guys this way, and then that kills me. If I was to do this, and throw this way, that... Oh, interestingly enough, I can do this, and then I can do this, and I can go back up here, and I can pick this up, and let's see, down here, and down here. And I've got to hit this. Run this way. Run this way. I could take this guy out, but then this guy would take me out. So I suppose I leave this one alone. Come down this way, come down here, come down this way. This. Oops. And the rewind ability is a problem. So I would have figured that out if I thought this was actually a coat. And I'm noticing that this is a problem, and this would be a problem for the tablet version, and that's a problem for the PC version, is if the game just started by spinning around a little bit, showing us all of this. This is Square Enix. I finally figured out what company makes Tomb Raider and Hitman. And Square Enix Montreal made this game. And they should know enough about video games to know that if you're going to show a level like this, you should fly around and give us an idea, give us some different perspective so I can see that this is a guard and not just a coat. Because from down here in this perspective, it doesn't work. It seems like you can rotate it 90 degrees by moving the mouse wheel, and that's kind of it. And you can sort of rotate it if you right click, but also right clicking and dragging will sometimes swing the Hitman around. So that's not even a good interface. Let's see how we do this in 30 or less moves. I definitely feel like I could have figured this level out. I'm just not particularly willing to spend the energy on it. Well, that's certainly a different way to do things. So you have to go down here and take this guy out, and then do this, and then do this, and throw this to convince them both to go down that way. Interesting. Up. This way, this way, this way, that way. That way, and that way. Definitely feel like I could have gotten that, but in no way do I feel like it would have been worth my effort. Let's see what the solution is now to just doing this. So you start here, which is what I believe I did, and then I'm pretty proud of realizing I could pull that move off. And then just have to manipulate the guys. And this time you throw it there. And then you go over here. And then you go over here. And up here. Down here. Same thing as before. It's a little strange the way they do that, but okay. And throw that in the same place. So the right moves often don't even change. So I've played some puzzle games where you do completely different things when you are trying for different collectibles. And when you do something like that and put that in your game, it has to be every single level is a completely different way to find a solution. Not sometimes you do all 90% of the same thing over and over again, because that's repetitive. And we don't need that level of repetition in our lives these days with video games. And in fact, I think repetitive is the phrase of this game. As I think about it, it's the perfect way to describe this game. Repetitive, often followed up by the phrase boring. is, I think, kind of how you have to describe this. So if I go up here and then take this guy's out, I can't go any further than that. Now I have to take these guys out. There's no choice. But even if I do take these guys out, I can't take this guy out. I've done something wrong here. You can't kill this guy, can you? There's no choice. So let's say I killed this guy. Let's say I even killed this guy. There's no way to get to this. I can't kill this one. I would have had to take these characters completely out first. And then this. And that opens the door. But I can't do this because then that'll just kill me. So what's the solution? Show me 27 steps to solve this. It is to go up here, but it's to shoot this one. Then you have to have this step to step away from this. Then I can go over here and just kill this one and come down here, do this, work our way back this way until reach this point, up here, up here. And then that lines these two up and I can shoot both, but you kind of needed to take both of those out. I probably could have tried to manipulate your way to this point, but with just the yellow jacket guys still around, but I suspect it would not work. So what's the extra number of steps to find the treasure, collect the briefcase? Which I guess I kind of get the idea of collecting briefcases, but I kind of wish there was something more interesting. Briefcase is kind of a boring collectible for this game. Let's see. And it seems like not anything has changed so far. So this time we are shooting just this couple, which doesn't actually save us any time. I wonder why my mouse sometimes brings up the little spinning wheel. That's something I believe you're seeing. I could have recorded this without the mouse and it wouldn't have been as big of a deal, wouldn't have been an issue. But there's really nothing happening in this game that would cause my computer to think for a second. Although there may be stuff in the background causing my computer to think for a second, so that very well may be the reason. This is another example of kind of a lazy way to port a cell phone game to PC, is you don't change the mouse cursor icon at all. So it's not really necessary, but it's definitely pretty easy to do, and helps make sure the player is inside the game and realizes he's inside the game versus, and it also helps me as a YouTube recorder, because if you make your own mouse icons, then I know for sure it will get recorded. If I have to record the computer's mouse icon, that's a setting. Let's see what we do here. Alright. So you shoot both directions with that gun. I'm zoomed in really close. So let's see. Can I convince both of these guys to be in my crosshairs? Nice. And then kill this one. Let's see. As we zoom out, look here. And it doesn't seem like there's any briefcase or anything to collect. You don't even get to zoom in and really look at the targets. These are kind of interesting little model Trojans. So we killed the mark, we killed all the enemies. Did we do it in 13 or fewer turns? No. Let's see what the quicker solution would have been. Almost certainly it's just not going back and forth trying to kill everybody. Interesting. Oh, you line up a couple of them that way. Nice. Nice. And see, I've never really seen anybody play Hitman as a speedrun thing. Hitman games seem to have a lot of features like that where you could theoretically play a level and speedrun it, and they sometimes suggest that, but that's not what the game really is. It's a slow stealth, plan your move out style of game. Don't get caught, don't start a ruckus. And if you do get caught, then you're just shooting guns for your life and almost failing. Now, it was one of the problems with Absolution is it had some action sequences that they tried to throw in to make things just feel a little bit more action-packed, and they felt a little out of place, even though I kind of enjoyed them the first time I tried them. But then they also seemed, if I recall correctly, were causing me to restart a lot. Well, can I get to my gun at this rate? Let's see. Well, I could kill this guy here. Let's do this. That's almost everybody on the field. And see these dual pistols. Again, something that if it was introduced at the beginning of the game would make it a lot easier to get into this. Let's see what the solution was as far as killing all the enemies. Yep. Yeah, we definitely needed some kind of power creep, or abilities is what it's called, not power creep, where we started with all of our abilities at the beginning of this and then finished with less abilities, or played at least a significant portion of the game with less abilities. Interesting. That lines us up perfectly. I probably would have never figured that out. Not in a realistic amount of time. And forward we go. Let's see, can we zoom out a little bit here? It doesn't look like this one is actually going to go in as much of a circle, so we're at 10 now. There's an 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It seems like there's 15 levels each time. Far too few levels. They have to be this difficult practically just because of the small numbers of this. It's too few for a cell phone game in general. It's too few for the Hitman franchise, which arguably the Hitman franchise is supposed to be a big deal, and with the reboot it kind of is a big deal. Can't go there, I'll die. That actually is very confusing, because now that pretty much tells me there's no way to survive this. Let's see. This, and what do I do now? Oh, I can throw this here. And if I go here, then I can do this and this. And what do I want to do? I guess I have no choice, really. I have to go up here. Interestingly enough, though, it didn't shoot these people. So let's throw this here. Go ahead and kill these people. Do this. Kill these people. And go up here. And win. Level complete. 12 or fewer times. Can kill all enemies. Let's see what the fast version of this is. See, all of the levels all of a sudden are starting to be a little bit easier, and I'm not having that frustration. Is it really because I took a break, or is it because just the moves I'm making and the puzzles I'm playing have gotten a little less frustrating? Interesting. This ought to be a cool twist of events. Wow. So I could go down here and shoot, in theory, at least everybody. I kind of want to test that, but I'm pretty sure it would work. But let's just take the 12 turns or fewer, so stamp and move forward. There is, in Hitman Absolution and the Hitman reboot, a lot of emphasis on having different outfits and picking up items and improvising weapons. So far, we haven't seen any of that. This feels a lot more like The Last of Us, just throwing bottles to distract things, than actually a Hitman game where the Hitman reboot, you could pick up a can of soup and throw it at somebody's head and kill them, or use a fire extinguisher to kill people. Already I'm a little confused here. I feel like I'm in one of these loops again, where very possibly I can't win. And where this connects over here to the exit, and here you have a pool, but yeah, nothing here seems doable. I cannot wrap my head around the math and the logic of these paths, taking yellow short characters. If they weren't in the game, I'd be really happy. Let's see. I can't go this way, I can't go that way. So I'm not gaining any ground at all. So just show me, game. Show me what the solution is. You go here. You go here. You walk back here. You walk back here. And this is where what it was like at the beginning. It's just manipulating the walking pattern. making sure they are in the position you want them in, which requires finding ridiculous number of steps here. This is supposed to be the least number of steps for the solution, by the way. And that was still a ridiculous amount of steps. I like puzzle games where it's one move, 2 moves, 3 moves. If you're a real genius, something like chess where each move matters, not something like, oh, I don't know, a first-person shooter where you're just spraying bullets all over the place. Let's see what it takes to actually get the briefcase now. It's probably even more steps. There's no nuance here, as far as I understand the word nuance. It's no elegance, perhaps, might be a better term. If I'm going to use big words. This almost feels like these solutions and puzzles were created by a program. Some video game AI that they made without having any artist or regular person look at it. So get the briefcase. Not drastically different from what we did the first time. There, right? Let's move on to the next one, Actually, let's not. So what we're seeing here is a new character with a shield, and that's kind of the last thing I would want, is yet another character introduced, because the shield is almost certainly going to counteract the gun, and that means our ability to use the gun has gone from somewhere either between level 8 and 9 and is going to be diminished, if not completely taken away, by 12. So only 4 levels seem to even revolve around that. We're on box 3. Box 4 is unlocked. Box 5 is unlocked, and it looks like it's special in some way, at least. Box 6 will be unlocked in 7 when I earn 7 more badges, and then box 7 will be unlocked when I earn just 37 more badges. So at the very least, as long as you cheat, you will see most of the game, and frankly, if you just keep cheating, you'll see all of the game. I probably wouldn't have made it past box 2 without cheating, though. Not in any realistic amount of time or reasonable amount of effort. So that says definitely a lot about this game. I'm trying not to complain too much about it, but I'm still definitely not happy with the way this is going, which is a shame, because when I play almost every game, I have high hopes for it. Sometimes I'll play a hidden object game that's reviewed negatively on Steam, and I'll say, okay, this is probably going to be garbage. But most games from a big company like Square Enix, I'm expecting it to be polished and fun and play tested and do everything that makes a game interesting and appealing to me. And this one certainly isn't doing all of that. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me further, click on my name, Rydo. On the right is a button that says support this channel. Click it, make a donation. And if you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.